Today on The Young and the Restless, Phyllis has news for Daniel and Summer. Nick's fears about Sharon intensify, and Cameron and Sharon have it out. All products and services featured are independently chosen by editors. However, soaps.com may receive a commission on orders placed through its retail links, and the retailer may receive certain auditable data for accounting purposes. At Sharon's place, Nick enters and calls out for her. Faith appears and says she's not there. She says she's left voicemails, but there's no response. Nick hasn't heard from her either. Faith is trying not to be terrified, but this is so weird. So not right. Nick hugs her. He tells her they have to trust her mother and believe she's doing what she has to do to get through this and come back to them. At Daniel's apartment, Sharon lurks around in the dark and turns on a lamp. She returns to the whiskey and poison, and Cameron asks what she's waiting for. "Let's do this." She says this is wrong. Cameron tells her this is what they've been working toward. This is the easy part. Sharon looks at the door. Cameron tells her she can go after she pours the poison into the whiskey bottle. Word will get out that Daniel's dead, but she will have the satisfaction of having taken control. She will have decided what makes her happy. It will bring her peace. The solution is right there. Close enough to touch. Kim Kardashian was so nervous interviewing her idol Dame Elizabeth Taylor at Society. Phyllis and Summer arrive to meet Daniel. He needles them about not being on time. Daniel says he's trying to find a job. Phyllis thinks things will be going great for all of them soon. They question her, and she pleads with them to just let her be happy spending time with her two favorite people in the world. Phyllis says she's buying and orders a bottle of the finest champagne. Daniel and Summer are freaked out. Phyllis doesn't care if they tease her and keeps gushing. Summer asks, "What's going on?" Phyllis doesn't want to talk about her and asks about Harrison. Summer says everything is great. Phyllis asks about Daniel, who says Heather thinks they should leave town and get a fresh start. Phyllis asks, "Is this because of Sharon?" She hopes he's kidding and rants that she's trying to be understanding because she knows he has issues. "But I'll be damned if I will lose my family because of Sharon and her constant drama." Phyllis keeps ranting until she picks up her phone and tries to call Sharon. Summer tells her to stop and asks Daniel, "Are you pleased with yourself right now?" He smirks, kind of. Phyllis learns they're not moving and asks how he could do that to her. She urges him to trust her with Sharon. He needs all the help he can get, and no one knows that woman like she does. Daniel tells his mother that the blonde apologized and warns her to stand down. He mentions boundaries and she mocks him. She lives big and it's always worked for her. Summer giggles. They decide to celebrate, just the three of them. Phyllis teases, "You're my favorite son, by the way." Summer tells her brother she's glad he's sticking around. At Daniel's place, Sharon picks up the poison and says, "No." Cameron tells her to think about how easy this is. She'll get to go back to the woman Nick will fall in love with all over again. Daniel should have died, not Cassie, and it's time to balance the scales. "Do it, Sharon. Pour the son of a bitch's final drink." Sharon puts the poison down and frets that she hasn't thought this through. What if Heather drinks it, or Lucy, who has gotten into her parents' alcohol before? Cameron seeds that Daniel didn't think about that before the accident with Cassie. Sharon warns there will be repercussions. He rages. What about the repercussions from what Daniel did? He reminds her how she watched Cassie take her last breath, and there was nothing she could do. Sharon tells him, "Stop." Cameron knows it's still just as raw. All those nights grieving alone with Nick nowhere in sight. "I feel what you feel, Sharon. We both know that you lost part of your soul when Cassie died. Now is your chance to get it back. You have the opportunity to finally lay your little girl to rest in peace. Don't let her down." Sharon unscrews the cap on the poison and grimaces. She puts a few drops into the whiskey. Cameron whispers, "There you go." After placing the cap back on the bottle, Sharon puts it back as Cameron tells her, "Good job." She freezes and Cameron warns she needs to get out of there. "Pull yourself together and let's walk out of here without leaving a trace. Then you're home free." Sharon closes the liquor cabinet and heads for the door. En route, she spots a framed photo of Heather, Daniel, and Lucy smiling together. She grimaces and flashes to Daniel, apologizing to her for the role he played that night. Sharon picks up the framed photo and looks around. Cameron has disappeared. At Society, Summer tells a cute story about Harrison dressing himself in the dark. She wishes Marchetti had a kid's line so she could put him in the campaign. Phyllis muses, not if I steal him for Abbott Chancellor first. Her kids gawp, what? She tells them she's the new COO of Abbott Chancellor. Clearly unsettled, her kids unenthusiastically reply, that's great. Phyllis thinks this has to do with chance, but Summer says it's not. They're concerned about her history with Billy. Phyllis says that's in the past, and it's what makes them so amazing. They know each other so well. We're much wiser than before. She's so happy about this and wants them to be too. Daniel says of course, but they don't want to see her get hurt. Phyllis says everyone is expecting them to mess up, which is pushing them to be great. She's so excited for the future of the company and pleads with her children to be excited for her. Daniel makes a toast to the corporate queen, and they clink glasses. Phyllis tells her son he's working on getting him hired too. He thinks it's a dead end, but she says it's wide open. She confides that Billy has a deal in the works that will leave things wide open for a game designer like Daniel. She wants to celebrate more and suggests dessert. Daniel has to go get Lucy, who is doing community service at the GCAC. He kisses his loved ones and leaves. At Daniel's place, Cameron reappears and yells at Sharon, "We've got to get out of there." Looking at the family photo, she cries that Daniel really is sorry about what happened. Cameron hollers that he moved on without missing a beat and has done nothing with his life. He's a waste. Imagine what Cassie would have done if she lived. Sharon cries, I have dreamed of it. Cameron says that should have been her reality, but Daniel took that away from her and Cassie. This was meant to be. It won't be painful, not like what Cassie had to endure. Daniel will barely feel a thing. Sharon imagines Daniel dead on the floor after drinking the poison and Heather and Lucy finding him. She cries, puts the photo down, and turns to look at the cabinet with the whiskey in it. At Sharon's place, Nick tries to comfort an upset Faith. She says she has something to tell him and shares that Adam found her crying in the park. He was kind and knows her mom's history, so she talked to him about it. Nick tells her that he and his brother are in good place these days, and he did help Sharon in the past. Faith says he hadn't been in touch with Sharon, but he advised her to trust him to bring her mom home. He believes if anyone can help her, it's you. At Society, Phyllis tells Summer how she convinced Billy she was the only choice for COO of Abbott Chancellor. She's going to take it straight to the top. Summer remarks on her modesty. Phyllis says it's called self-confident. She likes to think that Summer is the same way because of her. Summer admits she's sometimes been a role model and inspiration. Phyllis thinks Daniel's inspired by her too. When he spiraled and lost everything, he came home and with her help, turned things around. Summer makes a face, okay. Phyllis states that she's a mom, and that's what they do. They sacrifice for their kids and lift them up, and kick the ass of anyone trying to push them down. At Daniel's place, Cameron gets in between Sharon the whiskey cabinet. She protests that she won't take Daniel away from Heather and Lucy the way Cassie was taken from her. That would make her the same as him, only worse. This is murder. She retrieves the whiskey and Cameron hollers that this is justice. He reminds her, all of his is you. Cameron intones that she knows deep down inside that this is her only way out. Sharon yells at Cameron that killing Daniel is no way out. She would never escape the pain and guilt. This will not bring Cassie back. She thought the world of Daniel. If she murders him, she would never forgive her. I'm pouring this out. As she and Cameron struggle over the bottle, Sharon knocks over a tray of glasses and they smash on the floor. At the club, Daniel congratulates Lucy on completing her first shift of community service with a dessert. He gets her smiling and asks her how it went. She says she won't be complaining, especially in front of her mom. Daniel says Heather loves her, she's just trying to make sure she grows up to be a responsible adult. They discuss starting a whole new chapter in Genoa City. Lucy wonders why he doesn't seem excited. At Daniel's apartment, Sharon puts the now empty whiskey bottle back in the cabinet. She tells herself she has to clean up the broken glass and make this right. Grabbing the tray, she starts piling the broken shards onto it. Cameron rolls his eyes and tells her to stop. Since when is being weak and a coward doing the right thing? If she walks away now, she'll be walking away from everything she's always wanted since the day Cassie died. Nick will want nothing to do with her. She'll lose him forever. Maria.